Equinox.
I'm ready to say the spring has sprung and Girl What is still here.
We are.
This is your girl Lo Maine.
And even-tempered Esther Jade.
And y'all know this is the Girl What podcast. Today's episode, we're talking Girl What. They work hard for their money.
And most of you might not know by that cheeky title, we're going to be talking about sex work and how it's come into the digital age and how it's evolved and where it is in 2026. So we're going to go right into what's the tea, sis. We've got two wonderful guests today with us. The topic for what's the tea, sis is SW in the digital age. So, girl, this guest is bringing real world experience, receipts, and radical honesty to the mic. We're joined by Sydnie Hasse, author of The Arrangement. Sydnie has spent over 12 years working in emergency departments where she worked alongside sex workers and for a brief chapter lived that reality herself. That firsthand perspective gives her a rare, layered understanding of sex work that goes way beyond stereotypes and headlines. She holds an associate degree in healthcare administration and is finishing her BA in Health Services Administration this June. Yay! Proving you can hold compassion, intelligence, and lived experience all at once. And the gag? Writing has always been the dream. Sydnie finally brought it to life by self-publishing her novel and sharing her truth with the world, unapologetically supporting sex workers and naming what the work actually entails. Now, our second guest you all are familiar with, Shante Crown, has been on Girl What's Blurred episode, Blickety Black 365. Miss Shantae's past life as an exotic dancer and how it impacted her life and understanding of the world. Shante is the founder of Black Moms of RVA, a fast-growing collective of nearly 2,000 members built in under a year to support Black mothers through curated events and real, tangible help. Her work goes beyond conversation, recently stepping it up to help refurbish and move a family into a home completely free of charge. She's proof that logic, creativity, fandom, and community leadership can all live in the same person. This conversation is nuanced, necessary, and not here for respectability politics. Girl, let's get into it.
Yes. All right, so ladies, I will start off with these questions. First of all, thanks again so much for joining us for a topic so many people are scared to discuss. So, first question, what drew you into this line of work and how did you realize that sex work and the specific role of stripping,
Okay.
more so for Shante, yeah, but in general as well, you chose within it was the right path for you?
So personally, let's see. It's been a minute since I've been on that pole.
I'm in love with the stripper.
But I still got the moves though. It's just like riding the bike. I went did some pole fitness recently. Oh, and I still got it.
Girl, let's go down to there's a pole class I want to take in Carytown. It's a Black owned one too.
Yeah. They be getting mad at me because I be swinging on it. But I started it back in college. So when I was in college, like how most, I won't say most, but like some girls, you need a job. I was going to school for engineering and I needed the income. I was new to Richmond. I didn't know anybody. And I think, what's so funny actually, I had two friends that were underage. They were under 21 at the time. And I wanted to do something fun for my birthday. And I was like, where can we go? We can't go to the club, but we can go to the strip club. So I was like, let's go to the strip club and I think we went to Pure Pleasure.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, I think we went to Pure Pleasure. No, it was Paper Moon.
Oh, which location? South Side or over in Scott's Edition?
The Scott's Edition.
Okay.
Downtown.
Yeah, I've been that one too.
Worked at both actually. But yeah, we went to the strip club to have some fun and it was a good time. Yeah. And I saw like the waitresses there and I'm like, you know what? I need a job. Like I could do this. And I started as a waitress. Little bottle girl, just making scraps and stuff. And I saw the ladies on the pole. I'm like, you know what? They're making more money. So let me try that. And I got into it. Fun story. My mother actually was a dancer when she was younger as well. So that kind of like gave me the okay, I guess, in my mind that I can do it. So I did. And that's how I got into it.
And and it's funny that you say that you started when you were in school, because actually, so I went to an all-girl school. So a lot of girls that I actually went to school with, they wouldn't do it. So I went to school in Raleigh, North Carolina, but they would go to like smaller towns that were close by that had strip clubs. And that's pretty much like, it's like instead of them depending on their parents, but to their children, Jesus Christ, no. Instead of them depending on their parents to pay their tuition, or if there was any kind of gap that was left, they would honestly work like restaurant jobs. But then I knew on the weekends, if I didn't see them late night, like while the rest of us are going out clubbing, like they're going to make their money in the next couple of towns over stripping. And I always laugh because it was like one of my girlfriends at the time, she had like this super bright gold bikini top, and I was like, anytime she put it out, I was like, all right, girl, go make your money. I already know what you about to do, right? I already know where you about to go. So, but yeah, I definitely get it. It's like, listen,
yeah, good one. I can't see. I'm at the core of myself. I am lazy. I am not trying to work. I cannot. Well, I can't. Not even trying to. I know I can't work 2 jobs and go to school.
Yeah.
That's
a lot.
I wasn't about to be a waitress because I did that before, and I already know I can't do it. I can't give me more than 2 tables, and I'm already done. Right. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get paid to party. So that's basically what it was.
And Sydnie, what first drew you into the line of work, and how did you realize that sex work was the right path for you at the time?
I will say, oh my gosh, pole work is hard work, girl. I commend you for that. That is, yes. I did a pole class recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is hard work. I actually kind of just stumbled into it from a girlfriend of mine, and I feel like the route I went is a little bit unconventional in sugar daddy, sugar baby, the realm of that, because I really got to thinking about it, and I think it would really classify as the SW realm, because you are working and you are putting yourself out there.
Girl, that's
for men. And yeah, it is a lot of effort, and you have to make yourself be a certain way. So my girlfriend got me onto this website, and we're actually in Portland, Oregon. So we would just go on, and I probably went on, 30 dates, 30 different outings and stuff. And I actually eventually found my husband on the site, believe it or not. But yeah, it's wild going out there and meeting men, and 100%. Yeah, it's crazy. And he's from another country, so it's a little bit of 90 Day mixed in there.
So, hey, listeners out there, Pretty Woman does exist, okay?
It's a thing. It's pretty crazy. And yeah, the guys out there are really wanting to hang out and show you a good time and just have fun. And it really is another side. And I think it is really taboo and not talked about enough. So it's really interesting to me.
So what's something about the industry that people never see from the outside, a misconception or truth you think deserves more light?
It's not as glamorous, I would say, as you would think it is. You think, oh, I'm going to just meet all these men and they're going to take me on all these 5-star dates and blah, blah, blah. But you really do have to weed through the stuff out there. And you got to be careful as a woman. And being a single woman out there, you really need to look out for yourself.
Yeah. I can imagine. Shante?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's not as glamorous. Like I feel like I had, what's it called? Like beginner's luck. So when I first got in there, I was making a lot of money. I got the champagne room.
P-Valley.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I was, hot stuff doing all that. But there it is. Exactly. And there's some days where you didn't make money.
Yeah.
But you're out there naked. Shaking your goodies, and you're coming home with like maybe $50 after you might
sound like a very slow night.
But don't have it be the morning time, because the strip club's still open in the morning. So
buffet and everything.
And you just got to sit there in the smoke lounge and got your lingerie on, and nobody's here to see you. So you got your ups and your downs, definitely.
Okay. Having lived that experience, how do you view sex work as a form of labor, and what do you think people misunderstand most about the men who choose it? This is a good one.
You go first, Sydney.
I was going to say, actually, before, it is a job.
Yeah.
It really is something where you're putting your best foot out there and your best face, and you're like presenting yourself, as a resume to a boss, and you're like, hire me, and you want to get those jobs. Really, you want to make sure to get your job done and then go home at the end of the day feeling like I've done things. So it's definitely really hard on the psyche and the emotions. But if someone can really stick with it, and if it's no emotions involved, they're much more better that way. They'll protect themselves a lot better.
Yeah, it sounds like you have to have soft skills to do that job.
Oh, yeah.
And have lots of patience. I don't got the patience.
Like,
I'm a
don't be
mean
shy.
woman. I'm a mean woman. I'm sure there's a market for that.
No, there's a market for that, 100%.
Yeah.
But not in probably the strip club.
I was gonna say that'd be other revenues.
That's the other revenue.
I feel like that's more like the BDSM type, like where like these men are still wanting to have that boss, or and this is kind of, it's not off subject, but it is. On Valentine's Day, I looked at the movie Valentine's Day, and I forgot which character it was, but like she had a part-time job where she was a phone sex operator, and like she had one specific client who like wanted her to talk to them like, you're not doing this right, you're a bad boy.
Calm down.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what I'm saying, like those types of things, it's like it's definitely out there.
Oh,
But
I just
also-
do that on the regular.
Yeah, what they want.
What are you talking about?
You got to get paid.
I know.
Exactly.
That's why I'm gonna be like, give me a 20.
Wasted talent. You know
Look,
what I mean?
I'm baby steps. Sydney, what do you think people misunderstand most about men who choose it?
I really do think everyone thinks that they just want the women, and there's nothing else that they want. But in reality, they do want the company, and they do want the softness of the women, even if they aren't going to say it. That's why they're reaching out. That's why they're willing to pay money to spend time with women, because they really do want to have the companionship and someone with them, but they just don't know how to go about that in the regular way.
Yeah. What about you, Shante? What do you think that people misunderstand most about the men who choose to come into strip clubs and spend their whole check?
I don't know, because I feel like people have a thought about the men that do this, like they're probably simps. Or
I love me a simp.
I mean, like they kind of are. You know what I mean? like I ain't trying to talk down on the men's, but it's like there's some kind of ego you want rubbed, you know. And I feel like it was really a little irritating because you're going to a strip club. This is all fantasy. This is what it's fantasy. I'm talking to you because I want your money.
Yep.
I'm not trying to have a relationship with you. The amount of fake real names that I had because they wanted to know my real name.
Right.
It was Victoria, by the way.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I always was told I look like a Vicky or Victoria or something like that. So I don't know, like some were cool, some were butts, some,
of course,
yeah, not too many though. Some were there just to like degrade you, like you came to my job. Like, if I'm a low life, what'd that make you? Like, you the one that spent
you in the trenches here with me?
Exactly.
So exactly.
Well,
What's up?
low life, I'll take your money. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
And then just put a foot in his
what's
face.
crazy?
Yeah.
What's crazy is it was so similar with what I was doing, because you never know what you're going to get, right? And you're going to maybe meet this jerk one time who's there to just use you, and then you're also going to meet a different person who's actually just wanting companionship. And yeah, it's just like a pick out of the bucket. You don't even know what you're going to get. These men, they're just all over the map.
Sounds like a dating app.
Kinda.
It's crazy.
But you have to be an actress the whole time. It's still your job. So
exactly.
it's like,
I talk about that a lot in my book. I actually talk about, because my book is actually from another perspective. It's not technically me, but my other girlfriend's experience and stuff I drew from. And there's a lot of that, of her masking herself before she goes into these situations so that she can make sure that she gets the job done because she wants to make sure to get that bag at the end, right? So
Well, we are going to put a pause on this while we go to the commercial break. We're going to have more with Sydnie and Shante. Happy spring, y'all. We're back. We're going to jump right into a Gurl, Whet second segment called Love, Baby, and Other Grown Business with a focus on marriage, free labor, or love. And we're going to be talking about that with our guests, Shante and Sydnie. So I'm going to ask the first question, and both of these ladies are married. When we talk about marriage or long-term partnerships as unpaid labor, emotional, domestic, or sexual, do you see truth in that, or does it oversimplify what love actually looks like in real life?
Personally, I feel like it might oversimplify it. Now, being in a marriage is definitely work. But I feel like being in any relationship that you care about is work. And it's not something that you do really good and then you get it. Every day is a different kind of job. Yeah. So, shoot, parenthood is unpaid labor. So,
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I definitely probably agree with that.
Sydnie?
It's really funny because even though I was enveloped in this world of sugar daddy, sugar baby, what I really wanted, was to be in a stable relationship in a marriage with someone. And that's luckily for me how it ended up in my situation. I got an amazing, loving man that's very supportive of me. And I got very lucky out of this situation. But yeah, exactly. Being in any relationship is hard, especially a marriage. So it is something you have to put yourself aside for every day.
And I don't think all men are like this or all relationships are like that, but because we're in a patriarchal society, I think that there's truth to that, where women are, used for their unpaid labor. And, I've seen time and time again, not just in my family and my friends' lives, just people that I work with, and how that translates into unpaid labor for women. And it's, it really surprises me, just how kind of like this thing of, and this is no tea, no shade to anyone being married, but there's under patriarchy, and I call them pick me for patriarchy. You can be a woman or a man, but there's this idea that you're this kind of like righteous woman who's gotten married, like you did it the right way, that you somehow are better than someone who is being paid for sex work. And what I've said is, well, marriage is free sex work because they marry you. And unless your marriage is set up where the man gives money to provide, but also not money to provide just for the household, but for all the work that you do, I think that equals it out. When a woman gets paid for her labor, when I'm looking at that, I just see it kind of like that. So not saying that marriage isn't a good thing. I think I've seen plenty of great marriages where it is a true partnership, but unfortunately those kind of relationships are very few and far between.
Sydnie, I also do have a question. So I know you said that you met your husband through the website where you'd been, working through pretty much. So was that transition hard? Or
oh yeah, that's good.
Had he been like one of your sugar daddies initially, or was it just kind of it from the beginning? It started just like as a conversation and then it grew from there.
No, definitely. He was one of my sugar daddies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was a hard transition. Speaking to, yes, things did change once we went from that transactional relationship to a, I guess, quote unquote, normal relationship, whatever you want to call that, where where he's not giving me any money at the end of the weekend or anything like that. We're actually like, okay, we're committed to each other. But it was this gray area of like, how do we navigate this? How are we supposed to go from that to this, And it just takes a lot of work and time. And, but, I think any man is really just, they want to make their other head happy, So
yes,
it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
I'm stealing that for sure.
I am not calling myself his other head.
Little head be controlling the big head.
Take care of that.
Yep. So every relationship has some form of give and take. What's the line between genuine intimacy and transactional intimacy? And do you think women are judged differently for navigating that tension?
Well, for sure. I feel like women are definitely judged a lot harder on lots of realms in the world than our counterparts. But I don't know. I can't really speak too much on transactional intimacy. So that might be another question.
Well, I mean, giving someone a dance, a sensual dance, that's a transactional intimacy, you know. I mean, it might not translate to a relationship, but, you know, what I have noticed, not to answer the question, but what I have noticed that men are transactional. So that in itself would be very hard to navigate into a traditional relationship.
Yeah. I don't know if I could, like, my man ain't, like, he's a softie. So it's like, he want me to just rub his head. You know, the one on his head, ladies. The one on the shoulder.
The one y'all can see.
Yeah, the one y'all can see. Not the one that I get to see. No, you want both. But so yeah, I don't really know the realms of that one. Yeah.
I'm sure there was like different positions you had to take. Like you said that you gave your fake real name and like basically disconnecting in a way where you would know the difference. And I think that's the difference between the genuine intimacy and the transactional intimacy. I think you just take out kind of the emotions when you're trying to do transactional.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, but can you even call it intimacy? Like, to me, it was very much just like a script. Like, I'm a theater kid, so it's like I was a whole. My alter ego's name was Venus, you know, goddess Aphrodite. That was my girl. But yeah, I mean, it did struggle because I'll get really into my role, I guess you could say, and trick a lot of men, and had to let them know at the end of the night, like, this is a fun time.
Yeah. And then, like, kind of going back to what you said earlier too, like, you know, some of the men that are coming into the strip club, like, they're not just like, they're thinking this is real life. You know what I'm saying? This is their perception of real life. So it's like, yes, while you're putting on this facade to get your coins, they're like, oh my God, she loves me. Like,
she loves me. Look at her. I keep making her laugh.
I'm getting eye contact. Right. Like, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, even with that, like, non-physical, that intimacy is there. And then it's just like, but again, because you're.
But where do you think men get that from, though? Because it's not just the act, right? They know they're going to the strip club. They have to have the money to get the women.
That's got to be the toxic masculinity.
And
blood rushing to one area. But they can't think straight.
But what I'm saying is, where do they get the idea to get that delusion that you, as an exotic dancer, have a thing from it? And my theory is porn. Because there's a lot of porn out there that says, oh, the pizza delivery man, the plumber. There's wild ideas, even when it comes to even outside of the sex realm, where you're just a woman and men will say stuff to you thinking it'll act out as a, you know, as the P word. I don't think, can we say the P word on the air?
No.
The P word.
Okay.
Well, we're
going to speak Pig Latin.
Oh, corn.
Orange pay.
Oh, well, because we're on the radio live or the radio on Saturdays, internet radio on Saturdays, Sydney. So we have to only use church words.
Okay.
So I really do think a lot of that delusion starts at the stuff that they intake. I mean, I've had conversations with men who have admitted to that.
And I agree with that. But even going before you start looking at porn. Sorry. Orange pay. My bad.
I did that one out, please.
I'm getting like you.
Naughty.
But
ain't giving us the eye.
But one thing I would say is kind of like, it could also go back to like, how were they raised? Because it's like, to me, if you're not loved correctly at home, that's also a way of filling a void, right? So if you start watching Orange Pay, that could be maybe like your mom and your dad weren't together, and I'm kind of far-fetched, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think about these kinds of things, but I feel like that could be something that could lead to somebody watching Orange Pay, because it's like, oh, well, I see that's a couple that they think is in love, or that a lot of people also equate hunting with love.
We can say sex.
I'm about to say,
yeah.
Can say easy.
Well, I will say, sorry,
go ahead.
To cut you off, but I feel like just to play like devil's advocate, right? Most people that go to strip clubs, I feel like aren't regulars. So when you do go, I feel like men aren't used to people straight up just lying to them in their face because it's all a lie.
Yeah.
But when you get there, it's like a party. So it's probably hard to separate the like, oh, is she touching my thigh because she's actually like having a good time with me?
Right.
Or is it she really just wants to get paid?
Real versus fantasy.
Yeah, and I feel like it intertwines.
But if you're going to a strip club to give money, I don't know any woman that's that delusional that goes to a strip club thinking, oh, this man likes me. Now, I'm not saying there aren't women there, but as a collective, when I've been in the strip club with women, I have hardly ever seen women come out there being in love with a stripper. I've seen men in love with strippers. I've had a frat brother ask me to go in a strip club to get the woman he was dealing with. He had a tiff and he wanted me to go in there, and it was so awkward. But I say that all to say that I don't think it's just about how someone's not being loved, but it's also how we socialize boys and girls, right?
You know what I said? I fell in love with a stripper one time. She was beautiful, and it's like.
Yeah. But I'm saying that is in the minority for women.
But think about it. They're used to making the decisions. Like you said, the patriarchy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's to be put in a position where you're not really making the decisions. They don't think that. They think they're in control in this whole situation. Because they're used to being the one always in control.
Then that's when you would come in.
They come into the oasis, like, come on.
Or just the micro expressions of being in control. Yeah. Like as walking down the street, somebody else moves for you other than you move for them. And you just walk your life with that thought process. You think you're going into like a place and it's like you think you're in control. And that's where you messed up. Because you're not.
FAFO.
So the next question, people joke that a wedding ring is a lifetime subscription fee, but on a serious note, can love and transaction coexist without guilt, or do we need to rethink what we expect from each other in long-term relationships? I have some thoughts on this.
Go ahead, Sydnie.
Yeah, you got this, Sydnie.
I was going to say, I mean, personally, when I was going through all of the sites and all with the one site with, all the different men I would go and see, it was very, no emotions attached. I was very much doing this for a reason, and it wasn't, I luckily was able to detach from that.
Well, personally for me, if I get married, it's going to be love and transaction.
So what's the difference though? Like give me an example, because like when you say love and transaction, like do you mean
I love that
love?
you give me what I want, and then in turn, I'll give you what you want.
Yeah, okay.
But does it have to be financial?
That's part of the deal if I'm going to marry you. Yeah. Because here's the thing. My life is complete as it is. Every time that I've had a man involved, it gets all jacked up. So if I'm going to have a man come in, he has to buy in, and then he'll get the ROI.
Like with cash money.
Yeah.
Okay, not like
he
actions.
gets to be there.
Yeah. He gets,
Gotcha.
like Eartha Kitt said, I want someone who wants to share me with me.
That's fair. See, I always went through life, I feel like, 'cause this is why I became an engineer. Like, in my mind, engineers make money. They don't make that much money.
No, they don't.
They don't. Yeah, I should have got a business degree. That's what I should have did. But I was always going to be dependent on myself. Like, I am very independent. I never wanted to look at, like, my husband as a cash cow.
Right.
So you have to give me something that I can't give myself. So that could be, that could be transactional, but maybe not in a money sense.
Right.
But, I handle all our accounts. Like
one thing that I know really drew my husband to me was that when I was even seeing him in that realm, I was still working full time. Oh, wow. I work for a hospital. I'm always on time at work. I keep to my word with a lot of things, and I'm a very serious person when it comes to business and working and work ethic and that kind of stuff. So that was a big deal, I think, to my husband. If I would have just been, I'm just here to take you for your money, I don't think I would have been in the position I am today.
Hear you. Well, it wouldn't just be transactional for me. You would have to have some, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, or else it would not work.
I feel like that's a given, for sure.
Yeah, but you'll be amazed
That's
at how
hard
many
with
men.
men.
Yeah, exactly. What Sydnie said. So it's like a diamond, like not even, it's a tanzanite gem. You know how rare that is? You can only find that in one place on this earth.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm gonna say, like, I should have said it's more so something that you would think that men would expect for us to have. But yeah, no, I know it's hard to find.
Yeah, I might have to marry an old man who's in his wisdom and he's in that. Yes, dear. That's exactly what I want to hear.
You'll still have to train him, babe. It's okay.
It's okay, but you know, he'll be more he'll have more. I feel the kind of older man I'll have is emotionally mature and intelligent. You know, I do. You're right. There's going to be a little bit of training on that. But on that note, we're going to put a pin in it. We're going to be back with our third and final segment with our guests on Girl What podcast.
Hey, we are back and we are still talking Girl What? They work hard
for the money. So hard for it, honey. She's so hard for the money, so you better treat her right.
Point blank period.
Sydnie, you'll just find here that we like just break out in songs every now and again.
You're a great singer.
Thank you. Just jump in if you want to.
All right, so y'all know our last segment is the group chat got deep. And with this, we are talking the price of policing bodies.
And we're back with Shante and Sydnie going hard. If you listen to the first two segments, I have full confidence this is going to blow it out. The other two out of the water.
Indeed. All right, ladies. So, first question. What drew you into this line of work? And how did you realize that sex work and the specific role you chose within it was the right path for you?
I think we already asked that question.
I know we can, but I'm going to say just...
I don't know if you did.
We didn't ask it, but it has been discussed in a sense. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I answered that.
Well, you ahead.
Okay, I'll answer. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Y'all might not like my answer.
Uh-oh.
Y'all might not like my answer. Because I got into it because I was broke. I was broke, and
I think a lot of women
was
can
all
identify
cute.
with that.
So I was like, and I like to dance, you know, and I did pole fitness back in the day. So I was like, it was going to be an easy tryout. So I got into it. But being into it, I did see the world.
Yeah.
And it's not all glamorous.
Yeah.
I did see women like addicted to drugs. I saw women like they had children and like they couldn't make like a good house for them,
right.
Always chasing kind of like this lifestyle. And I did get out of it because that, like for me, sex work isn't something that I want to do.
Right.
And because of that, you know, I just don't really identify with it. I don't like regret my time as a dancer though, because I have this perspective that a lot of other people might not have.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of mine on that take.
Mm-hmm.
Sydnie, I know you said that you were in healthcare.
Yeah, kind of similar. I mean, I had just recently gone through a divorce and I got married young. I had 2 children young. I was on my own. I had to do what I had to do. And when my girlfriend told me that she had gone on this site and was going out on dates with men and they were helping pay bills, I was like, heck yeah, I'm all for it. And I just jumped in 2 feet all the way into the pool. And, you know, it was a time and period in my life when I learned a lot about myself and a lot about the world and, you know, getting a lot of really nice, fun experiences. And then at the same time, being let down a lot, you know, realizing, oh, this is not always the first night that I went on this site. I made $800. Never again did I have an experience like that. So
I'm telling you, that's
you
beginner's
learn.
luck.
Yep. It's crazy out there, but yeah, it was a wild time and I will never regret it either. I met so many amazing people. But yeah, eventually I was like, you know what? I do want to live a more stable lifestyle with somebody. And so that's why I was so lucky and fortunate to find my husband when I did. But yeah, it definitely is a wild ride.
I think that story of needing income is, you know, the predominant story for most people that get into it. So I don't think it's something to be ashamed of, right? It's I've heard the joke that, you know, prostitution is the world's oldest profession.
It is,
you know, but what I have noticed that it's only really accepted under the oppression and domination of men. But when women try to use it as empowerment, you get laws that make it illegal.
Yeah.
Which I think is insane because that's, again, policing women's bodies.
But also, can I say, like, back to that, like, because it can be dangerous. I feel like, not having enough money isn't a good reason to get into sex work. I feel like a certain kind of woman like should do it that actually like enjoys this, not because you need something else from it, because later on there could be a sense of regret doing it if that's not something that you really wholeheartedly like love to do, And I would say I don't regret a lot of things, so that's not really me, but like I can see something like that with me in a way. Like I probably shouldn't have put myself in some of those situations that I did just because I wanted easy money. Right. So I fear for the women that get into sex work because they feel like they have no other options, and then later on in life do end up like regretting it.
100%. If you're going to do it, like do it and do it with your whole heart, but protect yourself. Make sure you have people looking out for you. Make sure you have things in place where exactly the communication with people is huge. It is dangerous. I mean, to be careful, but if women are going to do it, then do it, baby.
So let's I want to throw this caveat in there, like OnlyFans, which is a contactless sex work, right? I think that in terms is a good thing because, at the most, the women are protected. They're not like actually meeting, clients or anything. You have people watching, and I think it's much safer, but you have to know the realm of how to protect yourself digitally, like, using a VPN or some other technology where I should know this because I should know this, but to be able to block your location so people don't know where you're at. It's for people who, like webcam girls who are doing things live, right?
Or just like not even protection from like other men, just protecting yourself in the sense of like, if you don't see yourself maybe being in this kind of profession or this world long term, like if you want to, I don't know, own a business of some kind, I don't know, like donuts or something, like it might affect that, right?
Which I think is baloney.
It is.
Because men can do the most atrocious things, go to jail, and come back in Hollywood and be the best thing since sliced bread.
It's true, but it's the world we live in, and like it's not
make their lives
miserable.
Only
time you got to think about your reputation. You got to think about the people associated with you and their reputation. And sadly, that is the world that we do live in. And at the time, look, I was hustling. I was trying to get engineering internships and that. I'm like, well, you an engineer? Look, I need an internship. Like, come on, let me get you this lap dance real quick, and then you give me this. It never worked. But, like, yeah, like, if you're into the world of sex work, like the OnlyFans, that might be where you start off with, and then you might have to pivot. And if you're still in that world, then that works. But if you wanted to just use that as something to get the money for, to get something else, like the internet's permanent. That's one thing. I'm happy that what I was doing wasn't on the internet. Right. It was in closed doors. So I have that luxury of not having that come back to me.
Well, that's why we want to have this conversation so we can start to erase that stigma, because holding women to such a high standard, but at the same time basically saying you need to be in the gutter, you need to be oppressed, you need to be dominated, right? It's giving like mommy daddy issues when you want to do that to other people, but on the other hand, men can just do whatever, and there's no consequences for them to suffer. And that's why I say matriarchy now.
Hey, I'm here.
It's giving
female rage 2026.
Yes. How have safety, stigma, and identity like race, gender, and class shaped your experience in the sex work community? And what does real protection and respect look like from your perspective?
Girl, you was reading that fast.
Oh, sorry.
I need that first part.
So, how have safety, stigma, identity, like race, gender, and class, shaped your experience in the sex work community? I do be reading fast, though.
Honestly, I feel like you don't discriminate in that kind of world. You do what you need to do for whoever it is, and you don't look at what they look like or anything like that. You know, you're there, you're showing up,
That
you're
sounds
doing
like
your
my
best.
real life.
That's
No,
every day.
I just thought of a good one because at first I was like trying to think about how to answer this question because these are some deep questions. Let's just think about the strip clubs in Richmond. Like, what are the strip clubs? You got Pure Pleasure, Paper Moon, and those are white dominated.
What's the Rouge?
Rouge? Yeah. Dude, that was my last place I worked at. But then you have Daddy Rabbits. Right, I don't know if they still have Daddy Rabbits.
Oh, on the South Side.
Yeah, South Side. And that was predominantly black.
Yeah.
You know, and there was definitely a safety issues on those. So it's like being black in the sex work. Oh gosh, like you're a target, honestly.
And see, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but I have only been to Rouge here. That's the only one I've been to here. And when I went, it was a bunch of black people. But then I've been to like strip clubs in DC, strip clubs in Atlanta, like, you know, the predominantly black places. So it's like, oh, I'm right at home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my people. So I'm not feeling, and I have to tell you the funny story. So, oh my gosh, what's the rap club? I mean, not the rap club. What's the strip club in DC that Drake used to rap about?
Chocolate City?
No, that's in Atlanta. But ain't that sad? I sound like I know. It's right on the tip of my tongue because oh my God. But y'all look up the lyrics to that Drake song where he talk about that strip club.
I used to love me some Drake and Rihanna. They love some strippers.
Look, but that's the thing. And that's the thing. So whatever that club was, on Monday nights, they had like women could get in for free. And they had, this is my big bag coming out, free chicken for like the girls, everything. Like, women could just come in there after work, have like a wonderful happy hour. So that's the first time I went in there. And it was like such a chill vibe. Again, like when I had gone to the strip club here, it was more like I felt kind of uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, it's yuck. It's giving that yuck vibe.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, when I felt like I went to more of an upscale black strip club, it's like, okay, I feel comfortable. I feel like even if I'm not a stripper, I feel
I was going to say you were more of a client than a
but that's
worker.
What I'm saying, but like I said, even being here as someone who could have been a possible client, like I'm like, ew, like they're looking at me sideways, like, why is she here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Who you mean? Like
That is actually, it's crazy the difference between the strip clubs over there and the ones over here, because in Portland, oh my gosh, it's the most diverse dancer scene. Wow. And the men coming, it's all over the place,
we
which
might
is
have to catch
really
flight
cool.
to Portland.
Exactly.
Yes, and the
Yeah,
girls, I mean,
always.
girls are always free, and we go in and we just have the best time when we go into our strip clubs. So yeah, and actually, I think Oregon might be one of the only ones where they are completely naked.
Oh, no pasties? Nothing? No G-strings? Because in Virginia,
Nothing.
you have to have pasties and nipple covers and
in
G-strings.
Vegas, they can't take their panties off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but say
Yep.
different. Yeah, different strip
You
clubs
cannot,
have crazy
yeah.
rules.
So in Portland, it's everything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's very cool.
Okay.
The rappers must not know that because they would have been rapping about Oregon strip clubs.
They don't know about us West Coast.
Right.
Listen, I need to catch a flight out to Portland real quick, y'all.
Yes.
I'll report back in. People often label sex workers as either empowered or exploited. From where you stand, how do you define empowerment? And why do you think society places certain bodies and choices more harshly than others?
I'm gonna have to hear your guys' point of view with this because I don't know if I find empowerment through sex work. I mean, just because I'm not a sex worker, but I can see how you can feel empowered by the job that you do. So
Yeah, I was going to say 100%
Yeah.
empowerment is the fact that I'm a woman and I'm able to tell this man yes, no, or the other, and he's going to leave and still pay me anyways.
That part.
You know? So I
like
felt
that.
very empowered in that role. And I think it's a great thing for women.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something along the same lines. Even though I'm not a sex worker, like just from the outside looking in, it's seems like it is empowering because it's like this is my body. I'm in control of my body. I'm telling you what I will and will not allow. So while others may think it's exploitation, no, I'm controlling what I own and letting you know what you are able or you are not able to do. either way, I'm going to get my coins.
Love it.
I mean, I feel like the strip clubs are exploiting the strippers.
Yeah,
I gotta pay them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like a little bit of both in a way. And I would say maybe in both ways. I feel like I'm a little bit too empathetic. Like,
Girl, you got locked that away when you're doing that kind of
No,
stuff.
I know, but it's like it's just the truth that like I'm a people pleaser, and I know I've separated that for the people that deserve it, but it's like there would be moments where I'm like, I don't like living a lie. Like I am lying to you or lying
It's
just
hard.
to get your
Men don't
money.
feel bad about lying to women, though.
I know, but I don't live my standards by what the rest of the world does. Like
I don't say the rest of the world. It means the other gender.
But like, well, I mean, if you're trying to be like them, then
I'm just gonna be like me.
well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to live by their rules,
Yeah.
So it's like you
Don't get on their level.
Yeah, so that's kind of like with me. At a certain point, I did it for like a couple years, like maybe like 2 to 3 years. In the beginning, it was fun, you know. I was doing it, but then it kind of got dried out. I feel like the economy got kind of messed up, and I just was getting kind of over the slow days because it's very empowering when you make $1,000 one night, but when you did the same things you always do and still revealing yourself, and you're paying them more money,
Right.
that empowerment can be taken away.
It goes away
Like,
very quickly.
so yeah.
Well, before we end this episode, Sydnie, can you tell our listeners where they can find you and tell them more about your book?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, Sydnie.hx. My book is on all the things, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I have my own website. It's a sites.google/thearrangement. And yeah, I would really love it if you guys all checked it out. Let me know what you thought.
Shante, can you tell everyone where they can find you?
You can find me at all social media handles as Mama Crown. On Instagram, I am Mama_Crown. But everywhere else, YouTube and Facebook, yeah, Mama Crown.
All right. Thank you, ladies. We're going to jump right into That's It.
All right, yeah. So thank y'all again so much for joining us. Just quickly for our Dassit, we talked about sex work in the digital age. We talked about marriage, if it's free labor or love. And then we wrapped it up with the price of policing bodies. So if you all missed any of it live today, we are going to have it up on our YouTube. So make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Stay connected to Girl What podcast by following us online. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Girl What podcast. That's GURLWHET We'd love to keep in touch with you. Come on, keep talking with us. That's what we do, right? So we have our, reflections. If you have any questions, comments, or you yourself want to reflect on anything you've heard us talk about, please don't be afraid to hit us up. Again, you can hit us up in our DMs on Instagram, or if you want to comment under one of our YouTube posts, you're more than welcome to do so. Again, both of those handles are Girl What podcast, GURLWHET PODCAST.
And you also have the option to leave us a voice memo in our DMs or leave us a voice message at 804-476-0905. Again, that number is 804-476-0905. And with your permission, we may feature it in a future episode. Your voice helps us shape meaningful dialogue on Girl What. So remember to stay in community. Remember to stay bold. And girl, keep talking.